Hey, good day, everybody. My name is Ngozi, and I'm here to walk you through how to build this simple dice game project. It's actually a game that involves two players, okay, whereby the players will roll a dice and the player with the highest number wins, okay. So if you're in between choices, possibly you're thinking, should I get red, should I get blue, and then you just need something to make a decision for you. You can actually roll a dice with this game, and then the color with the highest number wins. Okay, so this is actually my first time of doing this YouTube tutoring, and I would really appreciate your feedback, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. Okay, I would really appreciate it because it's going to motivate me to forge ahead. All right, so here I have let's go to the business of the day. I have my Visual Studio Code. This is an IDE. I actually prefer using this Visual Studio Code because it's beginner friendly, and also is widely used by developers out there. All right, so if you notice, I have a folder already saved on this workspace, and it's called Dicey Game. It's called Dicey Game. So if I should click on this, you notice I have image folder already that houses some images, and I have my HTML folder too, and also a CSS file and an HTML file. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry, I wouldn't be taking you through from the scratch of this project. Okay, reason because I really want us to focus on JavaScript. I am presently a fellow at Tide Lab, and currently we're learning some techniques in JavaScript. Okay, and that is what I want us to talk about. I really want to like put it out there, and also like like practice my skills and be able to do something. All right, thank you. So this is what we have. If you notice, this is just a simple HTML structure. Okay, nothing complex. I have my H1 that says refresh me, and I have two divs. Okay, and each of them houses player one and and its image, player two and its image two. If you notice, that is all. And don't forget to link your HTML, your CSS file and your JavaScript file to your HTML. All right, so going to this CSS file now, you see that I have just simple CSS styling. Okay, nothing much, just style the body, the H1 and the P tag, nothing much. Okay, but then let me see. Okay, I'm going to drop the link of this video. I'll actually upload it to my GitHub, then I'll drop the link to my GitHub on this on the description, so you can choose, you can decide to download it, so you can get these images, okay, or you can get the folder completely. So fine, let me open up this, on my web page. Let's see how it looks like from the beginning before we start working on the JavaScript aspects. Okay, let's just view this is the HTML and CSS structure. Even it asks me to refresh me. If I should refresh it, nothing happens. Nothing. Why? Because this is just a static web page. Using HTML and CSS is just static. Okay, the only thing that gives functionality to web page is JavaScript, and that's what we're talking about today. All right, so let me go back to my code so we can just dive straight to the business of the day. Let me collapse this so we have enough space. Okay, fine, we are here now. First thing about coding is logic. You need to decode the logic behind every project. All right, so if I should look into this game now, I actually want something that once I roll a dice or once I do something, okay, the stuff the dice will reshuffle, like it generates numbers randomly, right? So that brings us to what we call randomization in JavaScript. You can actually read up on that. Is actually a concept in JavaScript that helps to generate random numbers, all right, between 0 and 1, excluding 1. Okay, it tells you that it generates number between 0 and 1, but it never includes 1. All right, so if you keep shuffling, it gives you number from 0 to 0.99999. It never entered 1. Okay, so how do you get such function? The only thing you just have to do is to call it with its name. It's called math.random. Math.random, and then don't forget your parentheses. Math.random, and then don't forget your parentheses. All right, this is it. This will generate the numbers that we want. Okay, but then what I do basically is that for every line of code that I write, I actually like checking it. I like to I like running the code for me to be sure that the code works. Okay, because it's be frustrating that after writing plenty lines of code, you run the code and then you notice that what, the code is not working. It will be frustrating because you will not be able to easily decode where the problem is coming from. But what I do is that at every interval for me to be sure before moving to the next phase. Okay, so I'll come to my Chrome here, go to more tools, developer tools. All right, then come to console here. Let me refresh this, and then when I just paste this line of code, let's see whether it works. Are you seeing that it's generating numbers from us randomly? Are you seeing that different numbers is being generated? So now, if you notice, we have 0 0.9, 0 0.05, 0 0.97, 0 0.2. It never generates one, as I say. But then, looking at these numbers, we're having decimal numbers. And for dice, okay, for dices, we only have from numbers between 1 and 6. No decimal points there. So how do we do it? That brings us to another JavaScript function called math.trunc. Okay, you can also read up on this. It's actually a function that helps to it helps to like it will approximate the number to the whole number. Like it's exactly, it approximates decimal numbers to whole numbers. You can also use math.flow. Math.flow does the same thing too, but just that it will approximate it to the nearest number, like it runs down. Exactly, it runs it down. But math.truck actually gives you a whole an integer. That's what it does. So now, yeah, we have two function here, and we don't need to, like, we need to use parentheses. This is our brackets to be able to differentiate the two functions. All right, so let's see whether this works. Let's see whether it works. Let's see. Let me refresh this, and then let me paste the code. Okay, we have 0. Are you seeing it now? Like, we're not having any decimal numbers. Okay, sorry about that, I didn't paste. We are not having any decimal number, but we'll notice that we are just getting 0 0 0. It's not really regenerating, it's just giving us constant 0. That's because, as I said before, randomization actually generates number between 0 and 1, excluding 1. It doesn't include 1. Okay, now that we've now rounded it up, we've rounded it to the whole integer, that is the decimal part is taken off. It can only give us 0 because it's 0 0.00. That differentiate it is gone. So that's why we're getting 0. But still, this is not what we want. We actually want numbers between 1 and 6. What do? Very simple. We just come to the random number and then multiply it by 6. That's to tell we're telling JavaScript, please, we want numbers between 1 and 6. This is what we want. All right, so if you're actually working on a different project that requires you to use different number, like percentage, you need to multiply by 100 or any number of your choice. So let's see this now. Let's run. Okay, it gave us 4, give us 5, give us 0. Why is this still giving us 0? Okay, let's go on. Give us 3, give us 0, give us 1, give us 0. Okay, now we notice that this number did not really generate 6. Yes, that's because randomization does not take the last value into consideration. It doesn't. All right, so since we want number between 0 and 6, it will only give you from 0 to 5. It's not going to take 6 into consideration. So how do we get 6? And moreover, we don't also want 1. We don't want 1 and we want 6. So all we have to do is just come here. I don't know why this thing is here. Come here and then add 1 to it. So invariably, we're telling JavaScript that whatever number you're giving us, just plus it with 1. All right, so it's going to plus the 0 with 1. That means there will be nothing like 0. It's starting from 1, and then it's going to like end in, it's going to end at 6, right? So let's see. Hopefully it gives us 6 on time. Let's see. Okay, you notice, oh yeah, we got 6. And if you notice, we're not even getting 0 again. Now we have 1. So we have our numbers already set from 0 to 1. This is exactly what we want. But if you should play this like this, okay, if you generate such numbers, like we have this number generated, but then where can we locate the number? Because as it is now, once JavaScript generates the number, it throws to the air, like it's gone. So it's our own duty to save this number. And how do we do that? We need to declare a variable. Okay, and there are different ways of declaring variable, but for me, I'm going to use const because I don't want to mistakenly reassign this number. Okay, because it should be constant. Like this is generated, it should be constant. So I want to use const to declare my variable. And then since it's random number generation, I guess giving it random number as variable name is not that bad. So you can just go through your JavaScript naming convention, so you know how to give variable names very well. All right, very good. Now we have it saved. Now we're telling it that once you generate, please just save the numbers that you generated into this variable called random numbers random number, sorry. Okay, don't forget to terminate your line of code, to end your line of code with semicolon. If you don't do this, actually the code will still run. Okay, but then for best practices, you need to like terminate it with this. Now we have this, but then we don't really want numbers between 1 and 6. We actually want these images. We want to generate these images at random, right? Not numbers. So how do we go about it? There's something in JavaScript called concatenation. Concatenation actually is used to join two strings together. All right, like my name is Ngozi, my surname is Uloka. Like if I want to like join Ngozi Uloka together, I can concatenate. It's a string. I will use plus. Concatenation uses the math operator, the addition operator, okay, to concatenate, but it doesn't really add Ngozi to Uloka, no, because it's a string, is like a word, so it brings the two of them together and not add Ngozi plus gift. Do you get? Okay, fine. So let me introduce you to that. Again, I'm going to name a variable. I like declaring variables. All right, I really like declaring variables because it's very good and handy. So you can have access to your code like handy. Okay, so now I have constant. Let me give it random images since we're talking about images right now. Let me give it random images and then equals to. Okay, now concatenation. What do we want to concatenate? You notice we have our images here, but then we give it names. That's why I actually give it a simple name. That is 1 down to that is 6, right? So now I want to concatenate each of these images. I want to concatenate it with this variable called random number, which is math struct and math random, right? So how do I do that? Very simple. Don't forget, if you're using string, I said concatenation is used to like join strings together. And for you to declare a string, you need to use your quotation mark, either double quotes or single quotes. So now I'm going to like call my image by the name, which is dice. I'm not going to specify whether it's dice 1 or 2 because I actually want it to shuffle between these dices. All right, so I'm going to like give it dice, right? And then I'm going to call my concatenation sign, and then I want to add this random number because this is a variable name, it's not a string, so I'm not going to give it, I'm not going to enclose it with a quote, with a quotation sign. So here, random number. All right, this is what I want. So I want every dice to be shuffled within this random number, just like this. But then you notice our dice actually has an extension called .png. So this might be an issue because now if the system comes and they look for dice, I don't have dice here. I'm only seeing dice 1.png. It may actually throw error. So it's good for us to also add our .png also. And that's also a string, right? Don't forget, put the dot and then put the png. Put the dot and then put the png on it. So this is what we want, right? So now this dice is going to be like randomly, it will be randomly selecting itself here. All right, so this is it. Don't forget to terminate. Okay, let me just like give comment for those that might actually want to download this later on. So this is generating number from 1 to 6, and then this generates dice 1.png straight down to dice 6.png, right? Yeah, awesome. So now we have a dice kind of generated. Hopefully it's going to run. Because since our math.random runs, this one should run. But before we check it out, let's just get to some extents because I don't really want this video to take too long. All right, so what do we do next? If you notice, will this thing really run? Because now we have dice, but on our folder here, this dice is actually stored. They are stored in an image folder, right? But now we're calling it without the image folder. You know, computers can be so dumb, like it only do what you ask it to do. It doesn't really have a mind of its own. So now you're telling it to just look for a dice and then concatenate it with this variable called random number. It's going to come here, search for dice. I'm not seeing any dice. Okay, it will just throw you error. All right, but then you need to like declare that this dice is actually in this images folder. So how do I do that? Okay, that's very simple. As I said before, I like declaring variables. Okay, okay, since we're looking at random image parts, let's give it random image parts, random images part. Okay, let's give it source. It's actually an src. Okay, if you notice, I'm actually naming the first letter of each word I'm giving them capital letters, right? This is also JavaScript naming convention. You might need to look up on that. Okay, to now to give your JavaScript name. Okay, this is what we call camel casing. So you need to look up on that. So now I have this variable declared. So what do I want to do? I want to declare this. I want to tell my computer that please go into this images file and then concatenate the images with these random numbers. Okay, very good. So I'm going to use my string because it's a string, and I'm going to like give it its name, which is images. Don't forget the slash. The slash is very important because if not, it's going to treat it like this: dice 1, dice 2, dice 3. But the slash indicate that it's actually a part, like is a folder, is a part. All right, go into this and then you find this. That's why the slash is there, so don't forget. So I'm going to concatenate it with these random images. You see why declaring variable is very much okay. Assuming I didn't declare this from onset, I'm actually going to start rewriting this from the beginning, like dice plus random number plus .png. But no, I don't need to do that. I just need to like just declare it with this. Don't forget this is a variable name, so I'm not going to give it a quote, right? Images. Yeah, good. We have this now. What should I put on? Okay, images slash dice 1.png down to images slash dice 6. What am I even writing? Dice 6.png. I'm so sorry. Dice, yeah, that's good. So now we have this now. I guess we've actually named all our variable. So what do we have to do now? This is where the work starts. Okay, now we want these variables, like we want these images. We have them now. Like we now want to like, if you go to this our HTML, this our dicey.html. Okay, for each image we have two image already here. Images already, pardon me, and for player 1 and for player 2. Then we want it to be shuffling at each click of the refresh button, right? But then how do we now select that, okay, is this particular line of code, HTML line of code that I want to use? That's where we use something called query selector. There are different ways to select elements from HTML using your JavaScript, the different ways. Okay, you can also read that up. We have query selector all, we have query selector, we have document, we have get elements by ID, we have get elements by tag name, get elements by class. So many ways you can read that up. But now if you want to get it by class, actually it's possible we can get it by class, but then we have two classes here, and if we should select by class, it's going to like target this two, but that's not what we want. We want to target this one, work on it, then come for this two, because they have different mission, right? So how do we do it? So I guess the best way is to just get it by the img. Okay, we can also get it by class, which is still okay, but I guess we should just get it by the img. Okay, let's go. So let me use let to declare my variable here, just to tell you that there are different ways of declaring variables. You can use const, you can use let, you can use var, but var is like is a legendary already, like is old version. So const and let is more modern. All right, so let's use let. So let image, since we're talking about the first image, I'll give it image 1. All right, let image 1 be equals to. Another thing is that for you to be able to get elements from your HTML, like you want to like target an element from your HTML, you need to go through the parents. Okay, just like when we're growing up, no stranger will send you something like go and get me something without asking your mom or your dad for permission. That's how it is here. Okay, for us to be able to like call the elements, we need to go through the parent. And I said before, for every object on your web page, for every element on your web page actually is being denoted with objects, like they are objects. Okay, and it's a document as a whole. There's something we call DOM. I'm going to talk about that possibly on my next videos, or maybe a few more videos to come if this goes well. So we need to like use the element. We need to call it by the parent, which is document, the ancestor, yes, which is document. That's it. All right, I'm going to talk more about this later on. Then we use query selector all because I want to actually target all the images. Dice 1, dice 2, dice 3, dice 4. I want to target it from here. from this image tag. But for the first one first, I don't want to combine all of the two of them. Okay, that will actually take us to loop, which I don't want to. I just want it to, I want to make it as simple as possible based on what we've been taught for now. All right, so now going back now, I want to target all, and then I'm going to give it the image class, I mean the image tag, which is img, right? Good. But then another thing that is the first one I want to target, right? And you know, this is like an array because there are like 6 here. Then it's not just a single image. So for array, you might still need to read up on that array method and objects. So for array, if you want to target an array element, if I want to target this first one, I'm going to give it a 0, because array start from 0 down to the length of the array. Okay, so the first one is denoted with index 0. That's the position, is at position 0. Second one is at position 1. Okay, but here notice I have just 2 images, right? Just 2 images. So definitely this is the first one, player 1 is the first one, and then player 2 is the second one. So for me to target this first one, I need to like give it the index 0, but then I need to denote it with a square bracket. That's to confirm that is an array. All right, and then I'll just close it up. I guess that's it. So now I'm targeting this one already. Now that I've targeted this one, what do I want it to do? Like, why am I targeting it? What's its usefulness? What I want it to do is that I want it to just like image one dot, right? There's something we call set attributes. Set attributes, you might actually is you might need to read on that. So I'm so sorry, I'm just asking you to read on everything. I guess I'm starting this video at an advanced level, not the beginners level. Okay, this is just the first one. If it goes well, I promise I'm going to like come back to the initial beginning of what we have been taught from child lab. Okay, and I'll be breaking it down each section with you guys. But for now, let's just give this a try first. So set attribute actually enables you to like target an image and then give it what it should do. Okay, I'm calling a child and I'm telling the child what it should do. All right, that's what set attribute is. All right, so now what do I want it to do? This particular attribute takes 2 inputs. You call the child and then you tell the child what to do. So it takes the input of, okay, the name of the element you want, and then what you want the element to do. Okay, so I will come here. I actually want this img tag. Okay, but then what's the name of the element? The attribute of the element is src. Perfect. All right, we have different html attributes. This class itself is an attribute. This id is an attribute. Okay, we have different attributes of html, but then I want this src because it's the one that is housing the images. Okay, so I want this src. Okay, I'm going to like give it a string because it needs to be like peculiar. Like I want this comma, and then what do I want it to do? I want it to like get this attribute. It should take this property of random images. Yes, that's what I want it to do. Take the properties of random. Okay, no, it should take the property of random images source, right? That's because we've actually like converted this random image to this random images source. So I want you to take this property, that is, it should now be rotating, or it should be shuffling images source, random images source. Yeah, okay, now this is what I want it to do. I'm targeting the src, okay, which is the attribute that is housing the image element, and then I want it to now take over this property of random images source. All right, I guess we're writing too much lines of code right now. Let's just run it and see. Let me control save. Let me go to my web page. Let me close this console. And then we still have our page similar. Let me refresh. Okay, do you notice now the player 1 is not changing, because now it's taking the attributes of that variable that we give it. It's 4 here, it's 5 there. Are you seeing it? It's 1 here. That is exactly what we want it to do. Okay, we'll call the player 1, and then we set the attribute to that random images source. Okay, so this works. Awesome. So now let's do the same to player 2. Okay, normally we're supposed to just copy this code and paste. Okay, but no, for beginners that we are not to copy code, we're to write it individually, and then it's best practice to write your code, okay, so you don't really have to be debugging codes. Like if you copy it, believe me, it's going to really give you some bugs. All right, so let's just do that fast because I don't really need to explain much. Const random number. I don't need to explain much because I believe we get the logic already. Random number. Okay, now it's telling me that random number is taken. You see what I said before? I actually use const, so I don't redeclare a variable or something. So now I'm going to give it random number 2. Oh, sorry, number 2. So let me just give this one random number 1. Yeah, it's better that way, which is equals to, right? Same thing, maths dot trunc into brackets maths dot random. All right, open our curly braces, multiply it by 6, all right, and then plus it by 1. Yeah, we're good. I don't need to write the comment again, so you can easily get it from the initial one. So we have const random images. Okay, 2. That means I need to give this one 1. Okay, random images 2 equals to dice. Right? Yep. Plus random. Oh, this is random number 1 now. We're not going to complicate issues for ourselves. Random number 2. Yep. Okay, there's no even need. Let me make these two lines of code into one. There's no need me actually like declaring this and also declaring this. I can just declare this inside of this traits, right? So what I just need to do is for me to just like images, right, slash dice, exactly, plus random number 2 plus .png. Yeah, we're good. I like giving it space, as our coach always say at Tide Lab, our coach Mr. Kenny, he always say that you can write as many lines of code as you want. Okay, we are beginners, so write as many lines of code as long as your code runs. That's what matters. But when you get to that level that you look into optimization and scalability, then you can now start looking for, oh, how do I make this line of code shorter? How do I do this? How do I do that? All right, but for now, write as many lines of code as you want. Is allowed, but later we need to look into optimization. Okay, this is giving me a squiggly line. That's because we've changed the image name to image 1, so we need to give it 1 here. Okay, so we're good here. So then I don't need this line of code because now I've compressed these 2 lines to 1. All right, so let me just go straight to my let's image 2. Yeah, give this one good name from the beginning. That's good. Equals to document dot query selector all. Yeah, query selector all. See the img, but then I'm targeting I'm targeting the other element, which is this our what's it called, our player 2 image. This our player 2 image folder. This is what I'm targeting. All right, so as I said before, the first element of an array actually take the index 0. The second element takes index 1. So I'm going to give it index 1. Don't forget your square bracket. All right, so I have this like this. Awesome. So this second line of code, I guess we can still like integrate it inside this first line. Yes. Let's see. Since they're just image 1. Okay, I'll just like dot set attribute. Here we can set attribute, right? Open your brackets, give it the element name, this attribute name, pardon me, and then give it your random images 2, right? Please be sure that you're targeting the correct element or variable. So random images 2. Okay, we're good. So this is it. So this should run. Let me control save and let's refresh. Are you seeing that now we have 4 here, we have 3 here, we have 1 here, we have 4 here? Yes, so now we're good. Good, but that's not all we want. We also want it that once a player actually has the highest number, it should be declared the winner, right? So we need to like, this is where we actually use what we called what's it called, our statement, conditional statement. We need to use an if statement possibly to be able to like, okay, if player one has the highest number, just declare player one the winner. If player two has the highest number, declare player two the winner. I'm so sorry, like I'm not just being professional on this video. It's actually my first time. Hopefully subsequent videos I'm really gonna be professional. I'm going to work on that. So let's go. So what do? We have to like use our if statement, right? If random player one, random, okay, no, random number one, right? It should be random number, right? Yes, random number one is greater than random number two. Random number two. Yes. So what do? So what we want to do is something that we want to change. We want to change this text. Refresh me. We want to change it to player one wins or player two wins. So how do we do that? We're not going to come into our HTML file and start like targeting it, giving it another p tag or something. No, we're going to do it right here because it's functionality. It shouldn't refresh. It should not refresh this page until we ask it to refresh. Okay, this one I'm just wiggling left and right. I'm so sorry. So now let's see. If random number one is greater than random number two, okay, then we need to target our elements. Which element are we talking about? Hey, why am I just swinging left and right? I'm so sorry, please. We want to target these elements. We want to change this H1, which says refresh me, to something else, right? Good. So now we're going to, as I said before, we're going to use query selector or something to target it. But then don't forget to link it to the ancestral lineage, which is the document, right? So let's go. So I'm going to have document, right, dot query selector, but then I want, it's going to be query selector, just query selector. If you notice, this first one is query selector all. This one is actually going to be query selector, like it's not all because it's just one h1. I don't know why I'm still swinging left and right. It's just one h1 that we have here, so it's just one. Unlike this one that we have images, right? We have two image tag, but here we have just one h1, so we can just use this query selector, and then we'll just target it like h1. Just give it the h1. Okay, now we have this targeted already. So what do we want it to do? What do you want the h1 to do for you? We want to change what is inside to something else when this condition is met, right? So how do we do it? We use what we call dot inner HTML. So we're saying that what is inside this HTML. Okay, so we are like targeting what is inside the HTML. That's why you're seeing these dots. Just where we targeted the attributes too. We said dots, set attributes. Okay, so we are targeting what is inside this h1, which is in this refresh me. That's what we are targeting. All right, so what do we want it to do? We want to like, when I say we are not equating it to something else. So don't say refresh me again when player one number is greater than player two number. Do not say refresh me again. Instead, just say player one wins. Player one wins. That's good. Okay, I feel like putting an emoji or something. Okay, let's see. I can actually add an emoji here. All I need to do is just go to this my edit. If you're using a MacBook, it's very easy. Go to your edit on your Chrome, and then you see emojis and symbols. But if you're using Windows, then you need to actually search for that on your Chrome. All right, so I'll come here. I have different emojis. What do we need to celebrate player one? We need something to like dance to the to the to the tune of the celebration, like yay, player one won. What do we need? Please don't take our time. Should I just pick anything? Any suggestion? Anybody? Come on. Okay, these flags are looking beautiful. Yeah, that's a good one. We can actually like throw a flag like yay, player one wins. So but which country flag do we use? Come on, right now, let's just use something that is very simple. Yeah, all those musical instruments. Maybe we should play a drum or something. It's so funny. All right, okay, let's just take this. I'm just going to copy. Let's come and see. Violin. Okay, not bad. So I'll just come here and kind of like paste it here. Let's see if it works. Oh, it didn't copy that well. I'm just saying. Okay, I don't really think we need this because it's kind of taking our time now. I don't know. Okay. Why is it carrying itself? Okay. We can actually use something like that later on. But now we get the logic. This video is really getting longer than I expected. So we said player one wins. It's okay. We don't need to like paparazzi it. So okay, now what if player two actually gets the highest number? What do we do? Then that's when we need our else if statement. Okay, so you might need to go through your conditional statement. It's called conditional statement, and then you can be able to know how to use them well. So what if random number two is greater than, or we say random number one is less than random number two, right? You can actually put it any way you feel like it's greater than random number one. So what do we want? We want it to say we see select the same thing, document dot query selector, the same h1, right? Dot inner html. They will not be like, yay, player one won. I'm sorry, player two won. Player two wins. English. Okay, we're good. Okay, so what if the two players actually have the same number? Like player one has the same number as player two. Then let's just put the S statement. That is the default statement. Like if both of you have the same number. So this is going to be an S statement. Oh, sorry, it doesn't really need to specify, because if one of them is not greater than, definitely is equal, right? So we just give it what to do straight. We don't need to specify that if random number one is equal to random number two, then so, because one person must win, one person must lose, and then if they are both on the same level, then it's a draw, right? So now say document dot query selector. We're still selecting the same h1, don't forget. And then we're like dot inner html. We're not targeting it to, we're setting it to, sorry, yeah, it's a draw. It's a draw. It's a draw. I hope I get the spelling right. Okay, it's a draw. So let's save and see. God, this video is really longer than I expected. You close. So when I refresh, player one wins because it has 6 numbers and player two has 2 numbers. I refresh again. Player one keep winning. I refresh. Oh, it's a draw. Are you seeing it? Now they both have 5-5. Player two wins. Player two has 2. Player two wins. Yeah, so that is it. That is the end of this video. It's really much longer than I thought. Wow. I'm really giving it to all these our YouTube tutors. Like, they are really trying. I never knew this is what they go through. I just pick videos and then I watch, and anyway, thank you very much for watching, and please, I will need a suggestion on the name to call our channel. Gifty code, does it sound nice? Please drop your suggestion on the comment section. And I actually want to say thank you to at Angela Dew. She actually inspired me. Is one of our Udemy videos that inspired me to build this game. I want to say thank you to her. That's appbury.com. Thank you very much. And thank you guys. Hoping to hear from you, and we go again. Also, Mr. Kenny, thank you very much for the wonderful classes. Like, it's really imparting on us. Okay, thank you all. We'll call it a day. See you next time.